I'm lobbying in DC for small business owners. I am so excited to be here. I feel like I am here and I become a new person. It's really bizarre, but it's also like what I've been craving. You know what I mean? It's something I've been like thinking about. It's something I've already started to, I don't know, transition into, is being like a legit business owner. And I feel like I'm so close, but I just haven't allowed myself to actually be this person I want to be. I've been so stuck in this little bubble. And I was getting off the plane and I didn't talk to the guy, but we kind of like had a little banter during the flight, but I was like locked in. I was like reading, writing, journaling, putting notes in my phone, listening to an audiobook. And we kind of chatted at the end. He's like, "Are you a professor?" I was like, "I teach business." I was like, "No, I should be though." And I got all like mad. I was like, "What? Like, why am I not a professor?" Because I'm someone who doesn't act like they know it all. I downplay my, I guess, expertise and experience to be like more relatable to people. I think that's good and bad, and something I was kind of thinking about during my whole flight was like, I want to speak. I really do. I feel like this is a good calling for me, someone who has got, with coaching background, with teaching background. Like, I have no problem getting up in front of groups. I just have to know what I'm talking about, and I have to be like super confident in what I'm talking about. And I don't have any area that I'm super confident in. And so what I realized is like, maybe it's not even about speaking on like one topic. Maybe it's just telling my story. And that changed everything for me. Like literally on this flight yesterday, I'm like, could I be speaking on stages just as me, telling my story, not telling the story of like who I want to become, but like talk about how I'm on this journey of becoming. And I don't even know what that is yet. I don't know if anyone would even pay for someone like me to speak, but like I almost want to be more relatable versus being like, look at me, look at everything I did, here's how you do it. I feel like there's something to be said about like approaching it from a standpoint of like, hey, I'm in this just as much as you are. Like there's a lot of people out there who you feel like behind because of what they're doing, what they're saying. And I feel like I'm someone who's not behind, because as I'm at this, experience, I already know like a good amount of people here as small business owners are all older than me. So I actually feel on the younger side versus I think when I'm home, I feel like I'm old because I'm like around a bunch of high schoolers. But yeah, like I feel like if I had a focused structure of like what I think I could speak about, I think I like have something there. And so that reminds me, let's see if I can do this. See if I can pull up my Claude. Oh, I got to get on my Wi-Fi. But as I'm doing that, I know it's been a couple weeks, and it's truly because I'm going through it. I'm absolutely going through something. I don't know what. Oh, we lost my video over there. Maybe that's because, I don't know. Continue to internet. I got one of these gimbal things, and I'm messing with that right now. So yeah, so like I'm not an expert in anything. I'm like a doer of everything and a trier of everything. And I think, oh no. Oh, we're back. We were cut out for a little bit. Let's try this again. Okay, so what I feel like, I don't know what I'm doing with my hair. So I'm going to a round table and an interview this morning. I've got to leave in about 15 minutes, but I had a little extra time and I was getting ready. And I'm kind of trying to like vlog the whole thing. And it's been fun. Like I feel like I'm living this version of myself that like I've always wanted to become, but I've always stayed small because it made everybody else more comfortable. But I also feel like that's a huge part of who I am, and who I am is the best version of myself. And I am, like I said, I'm not an expert in any field. I'm just like a curious student. I'm like a kid in a candy shop every single day. I'm like, I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do that. Like, especially in this AI world, I'm like, what? I'm like learning so much. And it's things like I've never gotten to think for myself. And I think it's just because I've like been going through the motions. And I know we've talked about that. And that's like where this whole thing comes from. But I have way too many ideas. Okay, you want to hear my manifesto that I had on the plane? I'm not loving this hair right now, but whatever. All right. This is what I'm talking about. Like, I want to speak as like not an expert, but like a friend. Thank you to the gimbal for following me. Okay. Not an expert, a friend. I don't want to come off as someone who knows better. I want it to be relatable. So here's my story, like it or not. And I think like this is where I'm like finding my voice. So I'm going to like go through it. A friend just happens to have been through it all. So most speakers build authority from the top down. Here's what I know. Here's what you should do. The audience respects them. They don't always trust them. You are building something different. You are building authority from the inside out. You lived mess to hard-won clarity. Your audience doesn't need to look up to you. They need to look across at you and see themselves. That's a rare, more powerful kind of influence. And it's the only one that actually fits who you are. And obviously this is Claude. This is me throwing all my ideas into it, and it's putting it into a situation. So I'm not here to teach you. I'm here to remind you that you're not alone in this. So every piece of content, every keynote, every podcast, every episode has one job. Make the person on the other side feel seen before they feel taught. Seen first, always. So it kind of has like a little layout of like what I'm not doing and what I should be doing. So it's like, I'm not going to say, here are 5 strategies for the work-life balance. I'm going to say, I was at dinner with my best friends and I wasn't there. I was in my head building something no one would ever see. You would not say, as an entrepreneur, it's important to prioritize high-value tasks. I would say, I can build an app from scratch, but I cannot figure out how to change a flight online. I'm not kidding. Studies show that busyness is not the same as productivity. I wouldn't say that. I would say, I'm always the busiest person in the room. It made me dumber. I have proof. I was the proof. And I wouldn't also say this. My framework for present parenting has 4 pillars. I would say, I had the best husband. I took him for granted, not because I didn't love him, because I was always somewhere else in my head. Confessions that will build your entire career. So here's where it was like helping me. So it's what you shared on that plane, unprompted, unscripted, raw, is the most commercially valuable content you have ever produced. Not because it's perfect, because it's true. These are not weaknesses. They are specific, vivid, honest details that make an audience lean in and whisper, "That's me." I was always the busiest person in a room, and it made me dumber. So I have these different stories, right? I was with my friends, and I wasn't really listening. I had the best husband, and I took him for granted. I was a teacher who double dipped, working on my business while my students worked on theirs. I sacrificed all my downtime building things I never launched. I can build an app, but I can't figure out how to change a flight. I can create hours of content, but I can't fold laundry for more than 30 minutes. I can sit on a plane and write a whole new business plan, but I can't go get my oil changed. And I feel like that is so relatable. Maybe I'm hopeful that I think people could relate to this. The talk that doesn't make anyone feel behind. Your keynote isn't motivational. It's recognitional. The audience doesn't leave inspired to do more. They leave feeling understood for exactly who they already are and gently redirected towards what matters most. I don't want them to leave feeling like they need to fix themselves. I want them to leave feeling like they finally understand themselves. Ooh, how am I going to do that? I love that though. You know, I love that. I do. Open with the confession that breaks the ice, student athlete, the teacher coach, consumer creator arc. I love that. The reframe, it was never the problem, it was always information. The invitation, one thing, not everything. Another idea I had was, what's one thing I can do every single day? One thing today. We'll just start with that instead of making it more overwhelming. What's one thing I can do today that could change my life? Yesterday, I flew to DC. Today, it's actually speaking my voice and sharing how I actually feel. I think that will give me the clarity I need. I'm going to speak my mind. I'm going to share how I feel. I had 8 confessions, infinite content, because I'm trying to build this personal brand. I really think that this is the way that everyone's going to be going, and I'm already super intrigued with it because I have all these businesses I want to start. So like, instead of starting another business, I should just start a personal brand and talk about my businesses. One thing, she was never the problem, podcast, LinkedIn, Reels, Shorts, keynote, a book. This is great. Talking about the expert trap. Let me tell you what I know instead of the friend truth. Let me tell you what happened to me, right? I'm not coming off as an expert. Here's my story, like it or not. That one sentence, the one you said at 30,000 feet, not to an audience, just to your phone, is your entire brand. The rawness of it, the permission of it, the refusal to apologize for it. You've been performing a vision of yourself that needed approval. That vision ends here. The next one just tells the truth and trusts that the right people will find it impossible to look away. I love that. So the question is, why does small business advocacy matter? I'm not just here as a small business owner. I'm also here as a teacher and a mom, and that changes about everything about why advocacy matters to me. When I speak up, my words don't just affect my bottom line. They affect my team, our clients, the vendors we work with, other small business owners who don't have a seat at this table. They affect my students, the kids sitting in my classroom right now, dreaming of building something on their own. And they most importantly affect my own children, who will grow up and step into this world and maybe run a business of their own one day. That's why I show up, because advocacy isn't just about me. It never was. Topic 2, share your personal journey as a small business owner. And I said my journey, didn't really actually start with the watering hole. It started in 2013 when I invented a lacrosse training product while I was coaching. I saw a problem, I built a solution, and something clicked that never really turned off. I went to school, I got my teaching credential, and I channeled the same energy into the classroom, helping kids discover the best versions of themselves, creating events that the school would better from. So I was constantly creating in that world. My husband and I then started the Watering Hall in 2018, which is our mobile bartending business we've built alongside our full-time careers. We never waited for the perfect moment. We just kept building. We just tried and kept going. And most recently, we launched another one, the Hug Button, the connection bracelets that help people, especially kids, feel less alone. We started that in 2023, but just launched in 2025. and hoping to write a children's book that's coming next. But entrepreneurship has become a part of my identity. I don't just do this, I am this. It's always been within me to create and to help other people. And I feel like I am on this journey of becoming who I'm supposed to be, and being able to look backwards is really a powerful thing. Another personal journey, so that was about my past, but now about my future. So the whole game really changed for us after this DC trip last May. A corporate client asked us to execute an 11-event series in a 3-week window this summer. And guess what? We said yes. We haven't done anything to that scale before. Do we think we can? Absolutely. Because what we built isn't just a mobile bar, it's an experience, and it's all about relationships. And that's what keeps our clients coming back, as what we create and how we interact with not just the client, but the guests. Every single person is important. And we want them to leave there feeling like, oh, this is a super cool experience, and make it memorable. But we don't just build businesses. We're building memories. We're creating moments that people actually remember. And I think that's what really gets me out of bed and keeps me going on entrepreneurship. So in topic 3, the role Intuit plays. So it's a cool story because we were already QuickBook users, and then we were brought on to an event as a vendor for an Intuit event through an event planner in San Diego. It was our biggest event yet. From the moment we walked on campus, we felt like family. We never once felt like we didn't belong. And that's kind of, it didn't feel like a client relationship. It felt like belonging. And again, we were nervous for that first event, and we crushed it. We did it, and that's what makes it. No, we just have to have the opportunity. As soon as we have the opportunity, we know we're going to be able to make it happen. They kept bringing us back, big events, small events, and I was exploring also the Intuit for education products. So another relationship to Intuit is through Intuit for Education. As a high school business teacher, I was able to connect with Intuit through their software as well, which was just another small world. That being said, when it came to this small business council, I didn't even know that Intuit did something like this, but someone at Intuit put my name in the hat, and then I got a call and I got interviewed, and then before I knew it, I was on a flight to DC to go to the Capitol for the first time and lobby for small business owners. I literally had no clue what was going on last year, but I truly believe that last year changed my life. The experience completely altered my brain chemistry. I was a sponge. I was so into it, learning, listening, observing, and I had no idea that my voice actually could matter. So that being said, everything changed, and not just for the business, but for me. And I walked out of DC last May feeling empowered, like my voice actually mattered. I was a leader, not just for my business, but for my community, my students, my family. That trip turned me into someone I am proud of, and I don't say that lightly. What I really want policymakers to know is that we are human beings doing our best. We are not just human beings doing our best. We are the ambitious ones. We are the ones who didn't take the safe road. We didn't choose the comfortable 9-to-5. We had an idea, a passion, and the audacity to follow through. We are betting on ourselves every single day. And all we want is a little bit of help from you guys to bet on us too. The more you invest through systems, bills, education tools like AI, the better off this country's going to be. More jobs, stronger communities, a real economic ripple effect that starts at the ground level. We don't just create revenue, we create events that bring people together. We give back to nonprofits. We mentor the next generation. We tell them to build something with integrity. We show them. The people who work for us are students in college trying to make ends meet, and they see us and they see what we built, and it makes them feel like they can build it too. We had no bartending experience. We had all people experience, and events experience just came through, doing them when I was ASB director, which again, I didn't realize would lead me into having the confidence to do so well in this business. But we mentor the next generation and tell them to build something with integrity. It's not about the money. It never was. Every true entrepreneur wants the same thing, to make an impact, to make people's lives a little bit better. And every bartending company or kid or whoever we've worked with has left our events saying, wow, that was something different. And I've worked for a bunch of, this is them talking. They say, I've worked for tons of event companies or, bartending services, beverage catering companies. And by far, you guys have something different, whether it's, from the detail to the way you make it so easy for us to show up and just do our job. It's like, that's what we want. We want to put in all the work so they can show up and be the best possible, have the best possible service they can have. So our guests leave feeling happy. I mean, that's what it's about. Nobody likes a bartender who's not happy to be there. So that's why we started the watering hole. And that's what I want policymakers to know. You want people in the service industry making others feel good about themselves, making connections. Entrepreneurs are who you should bet on. And that's why I'm here. And that's why I'll keep coming back. Here are the golden lines it tells me. I got to wrap this up because I got to go. I'm not just a small business owner. I'm a teacher and a mom, and my words have ripple effects. I didn't just do this. I am this. I've never waited for the perfect moment. We just kept building. It didn't feel like a client relationship. It felt like belonging. That trip turned me into someone I'm proud of, and I don't say that lightly. We are betting on ourselves. All we're asking is for you to bet on us too. Entrepreneurs are who you want to bet on. Crazy. Okay. All right. I got this. I got lots on my to-do list, but I got this.